Click the right viewport to make it active. Click View tab, Views panel, Visual Styles drop-down, 3D wireframe. The grading triangulation is displayed in the 3D wireframe visual style. It is helpful to observe the triangles as you use the feature line to break the surface. Click Home tab, Create Design panel, Grading drop-down, Grading Creation Tools. On the Grading Creation Tools toolbar, click Grading Group Properties. In the Grading Group Properties dialog box, on the Information tab, select the Automatic Surface Creation checkbox. In the Create Surface dialog box, click OK. To adjust the arc tessellation, a surface must be created from the grading group. This surface is temporary. You will delete it after you have adjusted the arc tessellation. In the Grading Group Properties dialog box, on the Information tab, change the tessellation spacing setting to 1.000 foot. Click Apply. Clear the Automatic Surface Creation checkbox. When asked if you want to delete the slope projection grading surface, click Yes. Click OK. Now that you have updated the arc tessellation, you must update the grading infill areas to apply the new setting. The easiest way to update the infill areas is by using the AutoCAD Move command. On the command line, enter Move. Click the original, interior feature line, the blue building pad. Press Enter. Press Enter again to select the default displacement selection. Press Enter again to accept the default displacement of less than 0.0000, 0.0000, 0.0000. In the left viewport, notice that the triangulation of the arcs along the ramp has improved. Click Home tab, Layers panel, Layer drop-down. Next to the See Topo Feet cross layer, click. Zoom into the area to the right of the ramp. Notice the polyline between the three circles labeled A, B, and C. You can use the following steps on any polyline. However, this polyline is in a specific location so that you will get the results described in this tutorial. Click Home tab, Create Design panel, Feature line drop-down, Create feature lines from objects. Click the polyline between circles A, B, and C, press Enter. In the Create Feature Lines dialog box, under Site Name, make sure that Grading Building Pad is selected. Under Conversion Options, make sure that the Erase Existing Entities and Assign Elevations checkboxes are selected. Click OK. In the Assign Elevations dialog box, select from Surface. Make sure that the Insert Intermediate Grade Breakpoints checkbox is selected and that Relative Elevation to Surface is cleared. Click OK. Note: for more information about using the Relative Elevation to Surface option to make a feature line relative to a surface, see about Relative Feature Lines. Tip: to reduce processing time when working with larger grading groups, clear the Insert Intermediate Grade Breakpoints checkbox. This option adds an elevation point at each point at which the feature line crosses a triangle. The polyline is converted to a feature line and breaks the triangulation along the right side of the ramp. The new triangulation creates a more gradual slope in the infill area. In the right viewport, select Feature Line ABC. Right-click. Click Elevation Editor. The Grading Elevation Editor displays a list of the points of intersection, PIs, or horizontal geometry points, and elevation change points, vertical geometry points, along the feature line. Notice that the icon is displayed in the first row. This icon indicates that the building pad feature line also has a PI at this point. When two feature lines cross at a common vertex, both vertices must share the same elevation value. The elevation for both feature lines at this point is determined by whichever feature line was most recently edited. In the following illustration, the common vertex is in circle A. In the Grading Elevation Editor, click on Select All Rows. Click Flatten Grade or Elevations. In the Flatten dialog box, select Constant Grade. Click OK. Notice that in the Grading Elevation Editor, the grade ahead and grade back values are updated to a consistent value. When you flatten a feature line, the points between the start elevation and the end elevation are set to the same grade, effectively eliminating the grade breaks. You may flatten either the entire feature line or a selection of points. In the row, in the elevation column, change the elevation value to 402.00 foot. In the Grading Elevation Editor, click Select a feature line, parcel line, or survey figure. In the drawing window, click the building pad feature line. The elevation points of the building pad are now displayed in the Grading Elevation Editor. Locate the row containing the icon. Notice that the value in the elevation column is 402.000 foot, which is the same value you entered for the other feature line in Step 4. Change the elevation value to 405.000 foot. In the left viewport, notice that the value you entered for the shared vertex updated the elevation of both feature lines. As you see in the following image, the new common feature line elevation affected the infill gradings of both the ramp and gray infill area. When two feature lines share a vertex, the elevation of both feature lines at that vertex is determined by whichever of the feature lines was most recently edited. In the Grading Elevation Editor, in the row, change the elevation value to 400.00 foot. In the right viewport, select feature line ABC. Using the grip inside Circle A, move the beginning point of the feature line toward the lower left of Circle A. Note: you may need to hover over the feature line, and then use Shift plus spacebar to select the feature line. Right-click the feature line. Select Elevation Editor. In the Grading Elevation Editor, the icon indicates the point at which the feature line crosses the building pad. The white triangle indicates a split point, which is created when two feature lines cross at a location where neither one has a PI. Much like a shared vertex point, a split point acquires the elevation of the feature line that was most recently edited. If the other feature line has a different elevation, it gets a grade break at the crossing point. Unlike a shared vertex, there is not an actual point at a split point, so you cannot directly edit the elevation. When you edit one of the feature lines, its grade runs straight through the intersection, forcing the other feature line to break at the split point. You can use the Insert PI command to create a permanent point at that location on one of the feature lines. After you convert a split point to a permanent point, you can edit the elevation of a split point directly, and have better control over that point. Select the grip at the beginning point of the feature line. On the command line, enter END to apply an endpoint OSNAP. Snap the feature line to the building pad feature line. Notice that an elevation change point with an elevation of 402.000 foot was added in the second row. The change point was added because you changed the elevation of the endpoint, the shared vertex, of this feature line to 402.000 foot in Step 4. When you changed the elevation of the shared vertex on the building pad feature line to 400.000 foot in Step 8, the grade break point was created. The grade break point ensures that the elevation of this feature line would match the elevation of the building pad. In the Grading Elevation Editor, click Flatten Grade or Elevations. In the Flatten dialog box, select Constant Grade. Click OK. The grade flattens, and the elevations updates to accommodate the new grade.